Truckers went out on Friday and Saturday, you understand. And on Saturday night, was it Saturday night? Yeah. Doug is driving the van, the white van, pop van, breaks down, no brakes.
Oh, wow.
Now, we got this huge route, 300 papers all told. Go ahead, son. All over the world. This is incoming. Then they break those packages down to one of the 6 districts that Amazon has.
Places.
Them big trucks take them there. You get it? Then, I just want you to hear this, and this is important for me. All of the people who bring packages in are Somalian. Wow.
Chris.
All of them. It could be, at this plant that I was at, it could be 75 to 100 Somalis working there, and they bring in all the plant product, and they also load up the trucks. The truck got a number, and in the number is a phone. They call it a cat. Right here, a cat, and then you have some keys and a credit card. You jump in there and tell the phone, the cat, you're ready to leave. Now, the Somali girls, they done loaded up your truck with containers, and in the containers are the packages. The containers are supposed to be in order, and that order is defined by the route. So this cat has figured out the quickest way for you to complete your route in the 10-hour time that you have. $17 an hour start. Some of the guys out there have not been there the whole year. They're making $26, $27 an hour, right? So then you got your cap. And so then you get in there with the packages, and then you get out of there. So I was out by 8. Everybody's out there having a little team meeting. You're out by 8. And man, like vans just running, man. Just like, it's still dark kind of vans. Woo, 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 100 of them. Woo, they're breaking up all over everywhere, man. It was like the military, it was amazing, right? And then I got with a Native American boy, Bear, who was my trainer. I loved that guy. He was a funny dude, and you know, crazy. We had all kind of laughs and this and that, you know. And so, but he knows his stuff. So he was showing me the ropes and this and that. And you know, I was a little bit tired, but I said, ain't nobody in here can outwork me, nobody. I don't care who you are. And so, you know, I'm about my work. Say work.
Word.
Yeah. So in the beginning, he worked for, the creator worked for 6 days. And after 6 days, he rested from the work that he did. Then on the 7th day, 6th day, he made man. And then on the first day that God took a rest, man went to work. You didn't say it loud enough. Word. Because you don't understand. The ethic of work is actually wired into our makeup. And when you're not working, you don't realize it, but you feel less than who you are because you're not accomplishing anything, but you're afraid to admit that you're not accomplishing anything, because then you would have to face the notion of failure or ineptitude or all the other adjectives other people who you've been abusing will call you behind your back or to your face. But the truth of the matter is, I'm cracking on some fellas yesterday, you know, talking about, look, you know, some of y'all ain't never had a job in your life. And the little job they gave you here at Lino Lakes, you want to act like you don't want to do that. The truth of the matter is, ain't nobody sending you no money, and if you don't get state pay, you ain't got nothing. And then you still won't act like you can put some effort into doing your work. I don't care where you get work at. Work is healing to the man's soul. I don't care, listen to me, if you are collecting cans, you collect them every day,
It's going to add up.
that's work. Say work.
Word.
Now watch this differently. I'm deviating for a second. You know, we say that when we're selling dope. I'm putting work in.
Put work.
We say that when we're in the street. You know, get your work in. Because see, we take and corrupt that comment and make it fit our drama. But the truth is, it's not any work, it's good work. That thing that would bring to you the feeling that you need to have in order for you to walk in your own man or womanhood. I'm going to stop right there and wait for all the amens to die down.
That's right.
So in this process, when I come in there with the mindset, no man or woman on Amazon's floor can outwork me. So with that attitude, me and this boy is on. So the first 40 packages, you got to do 242 packages a day in 10 hours. With this cat, it's possible, but you got to be booking. You see, those cars is booking, man. They dropping, but you got to drop just like we do for paper route. You drop, you got to go to your camera. You got to get your camera up quick. You got to hit that package to make sure you can prove that you did it, and then you turn in your cat at the end of the day. So if any customer comes and says, you know, y'all didn't deliver my package, they say, oh man, your package was, I mean, you got to say I arrived. That gets logged in at Amazon, right. And then you know they telling you, oh, okay, now you're arriving. Here's the package. This is the time they got there. Now you better check around. If you got cameras, you better look at them because our guys did what they were supposed to do. I'm gonna tell you what prepared me for this is Pop Delivers. They ain't doing Will. They ain't doing Bubba. They're not doing anything that we don't already do. And as a matter of fact, our job is harder because the customers get offended right away if you don't deliver. That's right. Them customers call right away if your paper ain't there. Right. You know, where I was delivering at was Egan, Apple Valley, Eden Prairie. Watch this. Man, look, I'm just gonna tell you something. Man, I drove up in some houses, man, so out of sight. I had no idea they was even existed in Minnesota. Yeah. I'm talking about some joints. Yeah. And I'm breaking up in there, woo. And, up the winding.
And the state.
Past the security guy, some gated communities out there. Yeah, I'm setting up this whole notion here to our guests. They asked me to have $10,000 as a part of this. $10,000 is for me to lease 5 Mercedes-Benz vans and to get the insurance on the vans, buy some legal assistance, pay payroll. It's your money, but you got to use their payroll system. Amazon controls the whole deal. So you can do it, but you got to buy from them. So look what they did. I'm going to come to your question. Look what they did. So Soldier Trucking, 75 or 100 trucks, you got to turn that off for right now. 75 or 100 trucks.
He trying.
Okay, just turn your phone off for a minute.
He trying.
Oh, okay. You got to get it planned though. That's strawberry. That's what the cake is for. I can get away with that. You got a cake coming. Watch this. Watch it. Okay, here's my thought. Okay, where was I at? Mercedes trucks. So Soldier Trucking with 100 and some odd trucks. Now, they use their own stuff because they came in first with Amazon on Amazon's level. So they have their own insurance, their own all of this. But the trucks, Amazon's making them get rid of and go to Mercedes trucks. Listen to me carefully. Amazon purchased 40,000 Mercedes-Benz trucks at one time. Do that.
40,000.
Listen down. No, what they're doing, listen to me, look. What they're doing is saying our business is delivery. Right. What product is going to get us the biggest bang for our buck? The one thing about Mercedes is the body can corrupt, but that engine and transmission ain't never going nowhere. And around the world, in China, in Dubai, in
anywhere, Germany,
in Europe, Mercedes, right? So they buying 40,000 trucks, and they making these guys sell their trucks, but they're making so much money. They're Amazon's #1 delivery vendor right now, and they only been in existence for 1 year. Let me just tell you this: these people in Soldier Trucking are making millions. And I'm gonna tell you something else. Don't be mad. When I walked into that plant, and I got the script with these eyes I have now in my mind where it is, I was looking at $1 million opportunity. $1 million opportunity. This what you got to do. You got to deliver them packages like 50 going west. You got to have a good driver's license. You have to have. They want you to have 7 years away from 7 years from the last West Virginia. They say they don't want you to have no felonies, but I can tell because what they're struggling for are drivers. They need drivers. They was going. They said, "Man, you want to drive for us? This guy want to hire me." I'm like, "No, I want to do my own thing, right?" So they was want to hire me that day. So I'm just saying to you, we done stumbled up into something here, y'all, right? And so then what I did, the guy that first introduced himself to me is the manager for Soldier Trucking. His name was Jeff. He was a very good people person. He had great people skills. He was very calm and relaxed. He was dealing with me and 1,000 other things at one time, but he never let me see him sweat. And I admired that because it made me know he knew what he was doing. I wrote him a text and I thanked him for spending time with me. Then I also acknowledged the brother, the Native American boy who took me with him, right? Just to give him some play. Then I went back to Amazon and said, "Hey man, I've done the riding on, and it was good." And I mentioned both of them. And then I said, "Well, what do you see as my next step?" So they haven't hit me back yet. But I'm in this process. I'm in this process.
It's
And
gonna go on.
this thing is getting ready to go on. I'm telling you now, I'm gonna tell you now, he said, the dude told me, the Jeff guy, he said, "Man, they're gonna start you out with 5 trucks." He said, they say 8 weeks. They say in 8 weeks you go to 10 trucks. You gotta go to 10 trucks because they want to pour more packages on. Your 5 trucks can't handle it. So they're forcing you to grow, whether you feel like you want to grow or not. Now, to Ananias' point, I'm coming to you, son. To Ananias' point, you may see, look, I'm saying, well, wait a minute now. I don't want this thing to break me. I worked a long way to get to where I'm at. And so I'm not letting no one thing break me. This thing either have to be, I had to see it clear, right? And be comfortable. Otherwise, I got no problem telling you, keep your trucks and, this and that. But long as I can, if they can keep me in that place where they say they wanted $10,000 up front to do all of this leasing stuff, and then they want to see that I got $30,000 someplace else just sitting, so that just in case something would go down, I could manage it and not be sunk in a day or two.
Right.
So I can show those two things, but I'm just going to tell you something. But I don't want them in my pocket.
That's right.
I'm trying to get in there. And my goal is not to get in there for me. I'm going to get in here for Pop Guys. If we're going to mess around first, I may have to hire the first 5 guys. I may have to hire outside of this. But if they bump me up, this is my leverage point. If you bump me up to 10 trucks, I'm telling you, you got to let me bring my own people. Because my people are going to do the job, and as long as she and all y'all in here got good, you got good driver's record, and your crime was a long time ago for most of y'all.
Yeah. So
in 7 years we can get past that. Let me see if this is Isaac. I'm sorry. Yeah. This is Isaac. Yeah. Are you coming?
Crossing barriers you ain't supposed to do, Adam. And you sick, man. So what are you doing to yourself? You self-destructing yourself? What you doing?
Let him answer. Hold on.
Isaac,
Let him answer. Yeah.
I asked you something, you ain't answering. You're not giving me an answer.
I'm not trying to self-destruct myself. I just
Okay,
go back in and doing what I wanted to do when I shouldn't have did.
Right, that's right. That's right. Well, give him a hand now, that was the truth.
Yeah.
Honestly, the best part. That's the truth. So what I need you to do, hey, son, I love you, and I'm glad that you're gonna complete your time at VOA.
Yeah.
What's the completion date?
In March.
Well, that's still a ways. Yet. Baba, what they saying is true, man. Don't.
Yeah, I know.
Let me just tell you this, because the politics on the PO's back end, he can't tell you his politics, but there's pressure on them anyway. Just don't get caught in that, right? All right, but look, we love you, man, and you know, we can't wait for you to be back. You know, this and that. We sitting here just chop it up. Everybody pop down 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I ain't gonna keep it because we got a little guest right here. Is gonna talk about some financial literacy, so we gonna let him get it in. But I'm glad you called, man. We love you. All right. Yeah.
God bless.
Yeah, amen. That was good. Hey, you guys, it was good feedback. Trav, what you got?
My question was, it sounds like the setup of what Amazon is kind of structuring it almost like a franchise. Like you're able to buy into Amazon and then with the 5 trucks. So the 10,000 is kind of like to get you set up like in the structure.
Right.
But then is there monthly dues? Leasing are they trucks or are they Sprinter vans?
No, they're Amazon, they're Mercedes trucks, them long-looking ones, because you got, it's got to hold up 242 packages, each one.
The Sprinter van.
And then they got it outfitted with that little steel rack so packages can't crash you, and they got their technology built into the dash. So this cat thing is going to be in the dash. And then they monitor them trucks, they follow them everywhere. So my first 10,000, they're gonna pay me back after a month. Well, I gotta come in with 10, then they're gonna pay me for using my stuff. But then I have to get it right back to the leasing company because now I need them again. So that's a wash, right? That part is a wash.
Is that you guys do here, you know, so I'm a very big admirer and a big fan of what you guys do here, you know, and I hope I can add in addition to the great job of what he does and maybe try to shed some light on top of what he's been doing here. So I'm just gonna go over some of what it is that we do here and who we are as a company. And if you guys have any questions, I want you guys to please feel free to stop me as we go. But you guys ever heard of Primerica at all before? Anybody?
Yes.
You said yeah? Who said yeah?
I did.
When did you hear about Primerica?
Oh, I heard about Prime America some years ago when
Okay.
I went to take some insurance classes to become a Prime America agent.
Okay. That's nice. Wow.
I'm Queen. Good. Got recognized. I'm Queen, been around.
And the reason that I ask that is because we don't do any kind of advertising at all. The only way we do business is word to mouth and referral based. So the only way you ever actually hear about Primerica is just like she said, maybe she got involved or you have somebody else like me who's coming out there talking to people about it, but we don't do any kind of advertisement at all. But who we are, so we're the largest financial services company in North America. We have about, actually that number has been updated to 130 licensed agents like myself through us. We came in business in 1977, so we listed on does anybody ever go on the New York Stock Exchange at all? The stock market? Every once in a while? Okay.
I watch it off.
You watch it often? That's
Yeah, that's right.
If you ever go back up here, look us up, our symbol is PRI, it's our Primerica symbol. So we came in public in 2010 with about $15 a share.
Yeah.
So almost 8 years later, we're about 125, $26 a share. Almost 8 years later, last time I checked. So we're a very, very profitable company here. So we have more than 5 million lives to us and over 2 million investment clients we have as well. So we have a world-class support system here in Duluth, Georgia, and we have about 2,000 dedicated home employees, and these guys pretty much service people like me and also service our clients as well. You know. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to stop me as we go, because I do this so much, things might make sense in my head, but then it might not come out as well in yours. So please just let me know. So check us out on Forbes. We are listed as America's top most 50 financial companies in 2015 as well as in 2018. We're an A+ rated company by AM Best. So to get to the thick of things, we are a one-stop financial supermarket with home delivery, And this is what that looks like. This is Primerica in the middle, and this is all these other companies. I'm gonna keep this right here for a second so you guys can see this. But does any of these other companies look familiar? Have you guys seen any of these other companies before?
American Funds,
Okay.
Lincoln, AIG,
Okay.
Voya,
That's good. So the reason why I asked this is about 2 weeks ago, I was sitting there with a brother of mine, and he was actually about to get on board with AXA, the blue company up there, and I sat down with him and I told him, hey, that's amazing. I think that's what you're doing is amazing. But the problem with that is when you sit down in front of clients, all you have to offer them is AXA products. So just like if I have iPhone now and you want Android, you know, all I have to offer is iPhone. So even though I don't got an iPhone, you want an Android, I will keep telling you why iPhone is better than Android. I'm like, hey man, iPhone is better. Don't buy that stuff. So this exact same thing. I'm like, when you sit down in front of people with any of these individual companies, all you have to offer is those products, you know. Or you can come to Primerica and have this arsenal of options, you know. So if Voya doesn't work, hey, what about AIG? What about Legg Mason? What about Einstein Financial? So every time you sit down in front of people, you're actually looking for the best way to help that person out, you know. Not just trying to shove something at them that they don't need, you know. Now I got iPhones, I got Samsung, I got LG, you know. I'm actually looking for the best thing to actually help you out as an individual. So good. So there are 4 reasons why Primerica is having success. There's a high consumer, excuse me, I should probably go back and show you guys one more thing. So with that, then we have opportunity to service. Can you guys see those words underneath those pictures?
Yeah.
So we have opportunity to service life insurance, you know, home and auto, long-term care, legal protection, mutual funds. We manage investments. We do annuities. We do 401ks for both individual and businesses, you know. The thing is, a lot of other people, probably some of you in here, all have these things, but you have it through different people. You know, and because Primerica, because we bring all this stuff into one, it gives people convenience, you know. That, yeah, what's your question?
Only thing I don't see up here is IRA.
Well, IRA, we have that as well. We do IRAs as well, yeah.
Okay.
We do IRAs as well. So, like I was saying though, most people have all these things, but they have it through different companies, you know. But at Primerica, we chose to bring all this stuff together to offer convenience for people, you know. And in 2019, we're actually going into mortgage refinancing. So we're about to start refinancing homes for individual. And a few months after that, we're going down into health insurance. So we are really trying to tie down people's financial need into one place, you know, to offer convenience for individuals. You know.
That's right. So if you like this term.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So that way you can get it.
So there are 4 reasons why Primerica is having success. You know, there's a high consumer demand for what we do. You know, what we do for people and families actually helps them. You know, actually put families and people in a better place than they currently are. You know, we have proven concepts and solutions that actually make a difference. We've been in the business in 1977, so we're not just some new boys in town. You know, we know what we're doing. When we tell you, we know what we're doing. All right. And we have a very, very powerful distribution system, which is agents like me as well. And our compensation program is unique and revolutionary, which I'm going to cover at the end here as we go. So our mission statement is to help families earn more income, become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent. So whether I was sitting out with a family of 5, a single mom, a single father, a millennial, it doesn't matter. The goal is always the same, you know. How can we help this particular person that we're sitting down with, put them in a better place than they currently are, you know. Right. And because of those options that I showed you in the first place, in the previous screen, that's what makes that goal possible, because we have different things that we can do to help individuals with different goals achieve whatever financial success that they want to achieve, you know. What's your question?
I got a question. So if I wish to start a life policy with you,
Sorry?
if I wish to start a life insurance policy with you, do you allow my child to be my beneficiary?
Oh yeah.
Okay, the reason I asked that because I just got insurance and whatnot on my vehicle, and this company was offering me life insurance with my car insurance. But when I brought it to their attention to make my child my beneficiary, they had a issue with that. There was a clause in there, so that I settled just for the car insurance.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't. Your child should be beneficial, because life insurance, if done well, is actually a way you build generational wealth. If life insurance is done well and you educate your kids about that stuff, so you do want to have your kids as a beneficiary, you know. And we let that happen in America. But as we go, I'm gonna talk a lot more about life insurance as well. That's gonna answer clear some clouds and questions that you guys might have this week. But that's a very, very, very good question that you asked there. You know. Correct me if I'm wrong here, guys. The problem with money is it's not coming with an instruction manual. You know, you could buy a hammer from the store. You know, they're gonna have a little picture on how to beat a hammer down. You know, for some reason our paycheck doesn't come with a manual. You know, And why are people having so many financial challenges today? So we said it's because most people never got a financial education. You know, we don't have a man coming down to the hood with a suit and tie and a briefcase trying to teach us how to spend our money. You know, we don't have all that stuff going on. You know, most people don't have a financial game plan. You know, only they have a financial coach. You know, so how real and serious are these problems? So I'm gonna go through some stats with you guys here. So modern Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings account. You know,
More than half.
more than half. You know, and almost so this one shocked me the most. Almost 75% of Americans admitted that they should have started saving for retirement earlier than they actually did. 75%. Protection. Almost 70% of households would feel the financial impact from the loss of a primary wage earner within 2 years, with more than half feeling the impact within 6 months. You know, do you guys understand what this particular stat is talking about? You know, I think it's a lot less than 6 months.
Right. Next week.
That's right.
Exactly. You know, and nearly half of U.S. households don't have enough life insurance. You know, I have a question for you guys here. How many GoFundMe pages have you guys seen in the last 2 years? GoFundMe pages.
Oh, GoFundMe page. All the
There's a
time.
lot.
Consistent.
There's one every day.
Yes.
You know, and the problem is that GoFundMe page versus having life insurance is lack versus empowerment. You know, the problem with lack is now because when something bad happens now, you gotta go depend on your broke neighbor to come help you out. You know, he's going through the exact same financial situation as you are. You know, but if you empower, then you have a policy. You don't have to worry about that. You know, finance or leaving your family in financial distress is the last thing you're thinking in your mind. You know, because you empower, then you have something to take care of that in place. You know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's just stop there for a second. I think that's a huge point for us. Because the low expectation is that, well, you know, you ought to be glad I just got a job. You know what? No, bump that. You know, you got a job, you got an income, you got money coming in now. Now, how can you think through how to take the pressure off your family down the line for you living your life? We don't want to just cut the chicken up, you know what I mean, and all of this and that, and say what a great guy you were. Well, you know, your family don't have nothing. Just right in here in this class, we have Marcus Glass gone in the last year. Little Lonzo gone just in the last year. And this little stepdaughter and them, they don't have nothing. Right? So well, this is the product that I'm the most interested in for Pop Guys. If you're working and you don't have life insurance, you are sticking your family up at the same time. And I just want us to see beyond just satisfying a PO and recognize that there's a lot more skin in the game than that. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that, man. It's pretty much a double-edged sword is how I like to see this stuff when we talk about that. And then debts now. So about 40% of Americans spend up to half of their monthly income on debt payments alone. You know, I'm not talking groceries and rent money. You know, I'm talking student loans. You know, credit card. You know, mortgages. You know, 40% of Americans. You know, and the U.S. household credit card debt is an average of $16,000. You know, I've had this presentation. I've sat down with families in Minnetonka and Edina. You know, when I show them these stats, they go, "That's it." I'm like, what you mean that's it? And these dudes have $35,000 to $40,000 of credit card debts, you know, and they live in all these fancy houses. I mean, they're talking to diner, you know, they drive the BMW and Audis, but it's all on credit, you know. So that's the one thing I've learned since being here is things aren't always the way they seem they are. They're not always the way they seem they are, you know.
That's a good point, son.
You know, income. 70% of full-time workers live paycheck to paycheck. But you guys remember that previous stat just said 70% of households, you know, would feel the financial impact within 6 months. But if you're a family who's living paycheck to paycheck, you know, you're not gonna make. You're gonna feel that you're not gonna make it to the next paycheck. You know.
That's good.
And at least 80% of adults live with anxiety about the rising cost of healthcare. You know, you see this stuff on the news every time. You know, people complaining. You know, Trump is cutting away this. This man's he's not adding anything. He's only cutting stuff off. You know, you go on the news every day. You see people complaining about, oh man, not enough benefits at the job, and all, people are not saying, oh yeah, we got more. Nah, it's the opposite. People are complaining that it's not enough for all of us.
Hold on, wait a
Is there a
second.
question?
No, but I just have to stop you. Tia getting ready to leave, but I just want to say something. Tia coming here, bringing his sons here, taking them to a little side room, been mentoring them, doing their homework and this and that, and lets him be around the group and lets the boys spend time amongst men and women, and then also get their homework and stuff done. Give that brother some love. I want you to see this brother's piece to your own life insurance. Go ahead, son.
Okay. So how I realized series like these problems now, we said. So our primarily we came up with a solution. We said people don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan, People don't see a hole and choose to jump in that hole, They didn't know that hole was there in the first place. So all those things I just showed you in the previous slides are just some of the problems and issue we see in modern day America, as something we see in our neighborhood, within our community, So what we did at Primerica then was came up with a solution with something called a financial needs analysis. Has anyone ever heard of what a financial needs analysis is at all? Yeah, you have? Okay, that's perfect. So this is pretty much like a GPS, Let's say if you're gonna take a road trip to Chicago today now, you type in the address of where in Chicago you're going to, why? So you can get there safe and as quick as possible. This is the exact same thing. Let's say if you wanted to retire at 60, an example, and if you don't want to retire at 65 with $1 million, as an example. So this stuff calculates your age, how much you're making, if you have any kids, student loans, mortgages, and all that stuff, and it tells you, what's your name, brother? Anaya? It tells you that if you want to retire at 65 with $1 million, this is what you need to start doing now. The powerful thing about this is now you don't only have a goal, you have a way to get to that goal. And the beautiful thing about this system as well is it calculates inflation. As an example, I was telling him the last time I came here, when I ran one for myself, I wanted to retire at 65 with $5,000 coming in as income after retirement. And that's kind of what I wanted, the money coming in after retirement. But the problem is, what $5,000 is worth today, when I retire at 65, it's equivalent to about $16,000. And that's because we average a 30% inflation every year.
30%?
30%. Sorry, 30% inflation every year. So when I look at all the individuals who are working nowadays, who are in the Target and Walmart and all that stuff, these people they did the same thing most Americans are trying to do. They got a job, putting some money away for retirement and all that stuff. So they were doing themselves a good deed, but they were now unfortunately didn't calculate what inflation was. So when they were planning for retirement, what their money was worth when they retired wasn't what it was worth when they came back, So these hardworking individuals now who are trying to do a good deed are forced to go back into Target, into Walmart, to go pick up some extra hours so they can be able to live and survive, and that's what we're trying to do for people.
That's good. That's good. So what I would like somebody to be willing to do a financial needs analysis as a part of the group, just to kind of give you an idea what you want to do, just on alert. We take two guys, and then y'all meet with a little brother offline, and y'all do this financial needs statement. Then you come back and let's hopefully look at it and see. Here's what here's what Travis needs to have $1 million. We'll just use that. $1 million at age 65 and be still living a good life in the meantime. Right? What do you need to do? And then he comes back with a GPS that really tells you what that is. And I think for us, we have never really had that kind of direct information about what was possible. We just be trying to up here hit another lick. And wasn't nothing wrong with that at the time, but eventually that stuff caves in on you. And so this is a stronger and more successful way to look at how to become what you need to be, and also how to raise your children up out of poverty and that suffering from that I don't have nothingness. Just I'm gonna give you an example. Today was my daughter. She 10. It's my baby daughter. She 10, and we had her conference today, school conference. And the teacher said, Purpose, that's her name, Purpose is always happy. She said, and sometimes, I actually think I might get a little attitude about it because I'm not always, this the teacher. She said, but purpose is always happy, and when I feel like I'm not, she makes me happy too.
That's what say that.
Now look. Now, my older kids can't say that, Don. That hurts me to tell that truth. But my younger kids have never lived a day without me being right there by their side. His purpose has never lived a day without having a mother and father of some means.
Right.
And so that, I never understood this before. It reflects on the psychology of the child. And when she comes to school, there's no stress, ain't nobody cussing, ain't nobody, nobody using, ain't nobody, she ain't hungry, none of these kind of things. Mike Fox, what you desire for your daughter. This is why we have him here. I want two people to raise their hand who want to do the financial needs analysis. That's 3. So then just Wayne will send a little piece of paper around you to sign up. Then you do the thing. Then come back and then okay. Go ahead.
The crazy thing about it, Pop, me and my daughter just talked about this 2 days ago.
Wow.
Putting insurance on me.
TX, you the same way.
And she was worried and all this stuff, and I'm like, but we have to do it. I want to leave my grandkids and my kids something. Right. But Dad, I don't want to talk about this. Well, you need to talk about this today. So it's crazy that you just came.
Wow. I got something to say. My daughter told me one day, it's a picture of me at my house on my desk. And my daughter is 6 years old, as intelligent as they come. She said, Daddy, I want that picture of you. So when you pass away, I'll have this picture to look at. I said, look, woman, I ain't going nowhere. Shit, dude. I said, well, that really did something to me, She told me up, man.
You used to have a toast out in the world when I was coming up. You said, man, you live forever and I never die. That's right. The truth of the matter is, though, people starting to ease on out of here. Sure is. We got to figure out how to do better by ourselves and by our people. I'm gonna make you go on the fast track, brother, so we can get to the.
Let me just ask you a question. I still don't understand the difference between term life and whole life.
Can you hold that question and wait till you get there?
Yeah.
You're coming right there.
Yeah, we're going
I've
to
been burning.
You're right there.
Yeah. That's good. So this stuff gives you, after we run those things, it gives you something called a FIN number, which is also known as a financial independence number. So now you know what your financial independence number is, So that way now you can start doing what you got to do to get to where you want to get to, because now you have a destination in mind, and also you have a way to get there, Most people don't have this stuff, and they don't want to do this stuff because they are afraid of what their number is, It's not because they don't want to take the time, they are just afraid to know what that number is, If you can measure your weight and you can measure your health, you can measure yourself, why can't you measure your finance? It's not much. It's not much different.
That's right.
It's just like why most people they are afraid to step on that scale to see what that number is. It's the exact same thing. I'm being honest with you. They are afraid of what that number is. But a lot of times it might not be as bad as you think it is if you just take the time to just plan it out.
Young brother, give me some dap right there.
So we educate people. There are 3 types of basic accounts that you need to have. We tell people you need to have an emergency fund, guys. This thing is as powerful as it gets. An emergency. I think Brother Wayne has talked about. I don't know, maybe he hasn't now, but emergency fund is cash on hand. This is such a powerful thing because you don't know tomorrow. You don't even know the next minute. It's just. We always tell people you want to have 3 to 6 months worth of savings in an emergency fund. You can have that in cash, or you have that in a bank that's an FDIC bank, just in case if something goes wrong. Just in case you're not able to go to your job anymore. You got sick or something, you got laid off. But because you have an emergency fund and you plan ahead of time, you don't have to go on the street. You have something you could live off of until you're able to get back on your feet,
Which takes us out of desperation mode. And that's the thing you don't want to go to.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't already show what we would do.
It's desperate times because for desperate needs, we know that. And we also educate people. They don't have a short-term savings, like a checking account. You know, if you want to maybe start a business, buy a car or something, like a short-term savings, we educate people to have that. You know, we also educate people. They don't have a long-term savings and investment. So your stocks, your IRA, 401ks, and all that. You know. Any questions with any of those at all? No? So, I have a question for you. What do people typically do with their money when they get their money? Spend it? And clothes and all that stuff?
Rent.
Exactly.
Rent.
And whatever.
Rent.
On time.
That's true, you know. And whatever's left of that money is sitting in the bank account, you know. And what does the bank do? Does the bank just take your money in a check? Did they just take that money and lock it up downstairs in the safe? They use that money, right? And they make money off of your money. And that's what we tell people, you know. We tell people, why not skip the bank and take your money directly into the global economy, so you can go get the exact same interest rate that the bank is getting on your money. You know, exactly. So obviously, it's good to have a checking account so you can have you can pay your phone bill, you know, your gas bill and all that stuff. But in terms of using a bank account as a means of savings, we don't recommend that for people. You know, do you guys know how much interest rate you earn on your bank account?
0.05%.
Oh, it's not even close to a percentage, right? Oh, not even close to a percentage. You know, it's like 0.03, exactly.
Yeah.
So check this out now. So you're using your bank account as a means of saving, and your bank is giving you 0.03 rate of return. And we just know that inflation goes up by 3% every year. So check this out. So this is inflation at 3%. This is your bank account. So for the entire duration of life, you stay living below the poverty line, you know, because you never catch up to inflation, you know. We tell people, you know, it's not about how much money you have, you know. How much money is that money worth when you want to spend it, you know. It's just like gross income versus net income. It don't matter how much money you make, it matters how much you get to keep after Uncle Sam gets his share. You know, that's what matters the most, you know. And that's what we tell people, that money sitting in the bank account is not doing you any good at all. It's worse for the folks who put their money underneath their mattress. You know, that don't even earn no interest. You know. So that's what we tell people not to do with their money, but this is what we tell people to do with their money, which takes us to my next slide here. You know, the rule of 72. Have you guys ever heard of the rule of 72 at all? Mm-hmm. You know, you have? Oh, what do you think it is?
It's the compound. When your money compound.
Time value of a dollar.
Can we help us give a round of applause? I'm telling you. No. I don't mean it like that, because I've sat down with a lot of people. You're the only one who knows what a real 72 is.
That's good.
It's shocking.
Listen to mother. Mother ain't broke. Look.
I mean that with the most respect.
Mother got some money.
You know, I've sat down with accounting majors, finance majors, math majors. You know, they don't know what the rule of 72 is, but they'll remember what the Pythagorean and what the isosceles triangle, you know, useless information that we don't need, you know. They remember that part of things, but they don't know what the rule of 72 is. So that's why I was giving you a round of applause when you actually.
That was the fundamental dialogue in Rich Dad Poor Dad. It was why Poor Dad, who was an academic professor, did not understand his financial literacy, and Poor Dad, who was a dropout, got it fine. That you just described. Go ahead, bro.
The rule of 72 is just like you said, how long it takes for money to compound. So let's say we have 3 different individuals. What's your name, brother? Willie. So let's say brother Willie, yeah, invested 10 grand, you know. Let's say like at a CD or something that's generating a 3% rate of return. So the rule of 72 says you take 72 divided by the interest rate. That's how long it takes whatever amount of money you have to double. So in this case, your brother Will, we invested 10 grand here, you know, into a 3% rate of return. 24 years later, his money doubles to 20 grand, you know. So 48 years later, that money is at $40,000.
That's the bank.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. I'm sure this is an investment. You know, investing at a 3% rate of return. And what's your name, brother? Taze? Let's say brother Taze comes along now. I'm sorry, go ahead. And he has the exact same money as brother Will did, but he invested into something a little bit more volatile, you know. He went for a 6% rate of return. So at year 48, brother Taze looking at 160 grand, you know. Folks, is that a big difference or a little difference?
It's a big difference.
It's a huge difference.
That's right.
What's your name, brother? Brother Philip. So let's say Brother Philip comes along now, he says, Man, that's amazing. You did 30%, you all did 6%. That's good. I went for something a little bit more, a little bit more bigger, you know. And he invested in 12% rate of return. So if you guys were to take a guess, how much do you think what the field is going to end up with at year 48?
About 300,000.
About $300,000, okay.
Probably 700,000.
700,000, and that's what most people typically guess, you know, anywhere from like 300 to about 700 grand. But this one is actually at 2.5 million.
Because it's 16 times itself.
Because 72 goes into 12%, 6 times.
Yeah.
So his money's doubling every 6 years. You know what's crazy about this? The money on the right side is what the bank is kind of interest rate the bank is getting when they invest your money that you put in the bank.
Right.
Yeah.
The left side of the picture, you don't even get close to that. Because remember, that money's at 3%, you know, but your money in the bank is earning what? Not even any close to a percentage. So you don't even get anything close to that amount, you know. And that's what we're trying to tell people, you know, because the stock market has had a rate of return over the last 30 years of a 10.69. Rate of return over average over the last 30 years, you know, because what people are going to tell you, oh man, this stuff happened in 2008, 2007, this happened, the market crash and all that stuff.
People were
Still.
Yeah.
And on top of all those things that's happened, over the last 30 years, the market has averaged a 10.69 rate of return. So then, if you take 72 divided by 10.69, that's 7. So theoretically speaking, then this money you would have here doubles every 7 years. So instead of at year 48, you're looking at year 50 or 51 with 2.5, which is still not bad, you know. And that's what we're trying to tell an individual, you know, because if your money is in that bank account, you are still guaranteed to be screwed because inflation is going to eat it away, you know. So why don't you take a shot at something, you know, that's higher than inflation, that's going to pay you much more in the longer run, you know. And that's what we're trying to tell people, you know. Even though the market has been crashing, but it's generated a 10.69 rate of return over the last 30 years. So you're better off taking a chance at that than something in the bank account that's guaranteed to screw you over.
Okay.
Just because the interest rate you're earning on that money is just not enough for inflation, unfortunately. So you had a question?
No, I'm agreeing.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said
Because that's the higher the risk, the bigger the return.
Yeah.
That's how it
Exactly.
goes.
Exactly. You know, so I have a question for you now. If you don't know the rules to a game, what are the chances of winning that game, man?
0.
And that's all this stuff is, you know. It's just a game, you know. And the people who know how to play are the one who wins, you know. Folks, they say ignorance is bliss, but ignorance in the financial world is nothing but pain and poverty. You know?
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
it's not bliss at all. It's not bliss at all, man. It's painful out there.
So look, bro, we kind of run out of time. So
Okay.
what I need you to do is get me to the insurance mode, because I want to make sure
You
these,
see that part?
these guys catch this before we have to get out of here. James also has something right at the end of it.
Okay.
Employment orientated.
Okay.
We got to pledge out of here. So let's move it along just a little bit, and we're gonna bring you back when you come back with the 3 guys who did the analysis for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, well, let's go straight to this insurance. So,
Thank you, man.
yeah, no problem. So there are 2 types of insurance, you know. There's something called a cash value, which is also known as a whole life, you know, universal life, you know, variable life. It's all the same thing. It's called cash value insurance. And there's something else called term insurance, you know. So, in a cash value insurance, what the insurance company do is they take your investments and your life insurance and combine that into one account, you know. There's a lot of reasons why that's bad. There's a lot of reasons why that's bad, and I'll tell you that. But in this example here, so the insurance company goes, okay, John and Mary, you know, you guys are married age 30. For the price of $295 a month, if John dies, Mary gets 150 grand and vice versa, you know. And they said, or if you live up to the age of 65, you get a check of $124,000, happy retirement, you know. Because remember, they're saying the only way this pays out, if you one of you 2 die, you guys get a check of 150 grand, your insurance is over. Or if you live up to the age of 65, you get 124 grand, your life insurance policy ends, you know, happy retirement.
That's good.
You know, and we tell people don't do that stuff, you know. Just buy term insurance because it's cheaper and take the difference and invest that difference, you know. Just like how you don't buy home insurance with an investment. You don't buy car insurance with an investment, you know. You don't buy auto insurance with an investment. So just buy life insurance without an investment because it's so much cheaper, you know. in a term insurance for the exact same price, $295. At Primerica, we tell people, so John and Mary, instead of a $300,000 value, how about an $800,000 value? So if John dies, Mary gets $400,000 and vice versa. But instead of $295, it becomes for $126 a month. So this family now, we're saving them what, $169 every month, you know?
Yeah.
Because we're saving you that money, I mean, you can choose to, I mean, with that money, go grocery shopping, you know, go to Beyonce concert, whatever it is that you want to do, you know. That's what we're saving you, because for converting.
Your brother, he will see Beyonce.
Yeah,
You said Beyonce concert? Yeah! Jay-Z gonna get you. Oh, God.
I ain't mad at him, you know. Oh, God.
But because we're advisors, we advise you to invest that money. You know, so if you invest that money at an account that's generating a 9% interest rate at 65, you're looking at $500,000. Now look at this now. If John dies, Mary gets a $400,000, but because she did that investment separate, she still has access to her investment. She still has that $500,000. But in a cash value on a whole life insurance, if John dies, when Mary gets the $150,000, there ain't no cash value coming. That's gone because it's one or the other. But because you bought term insurance and did your investments separately, you have access to both of them. So that way, if John dies again, Mary gets the $400,000, but because she did that investment separately, she still got that $500,000 chilling. You know.
Now, Phil, does that answer your question?
Somewhat.
Well, what is it that you're
Okay,
confused about?
here's what I'm confused about. Okay, so let's say for instance, you get an insurance
I
policy.
get it. Use yourself.
Okay, so I just got one of them.
Okay.
But it's the whole life.
Okay.
About a year ago.
Okay.
I was talking to my son about it last night.
Okay.
I was saying, okay, so let's say for instance, I died right now. My family would get whatever was left, or whatever the market value of that policy was. So how does that one pay out differently if the same thing were to occur?
Are you asking about this?
Let me interject. So,
Okay.
as long as you're paying your payments, your premium is current, you pass that policy just like he described. Whoever you identified as your beneficiary, that person's gonna get a check. They're gonna get a check by receiving the death certificate. That's what triggers the pay is a death certificate. And if you don't list that person in writing, and that person, sometimes there's questions about whether or not you're an actual sibling, but if you list them in your document with Primerica, that person is going to be eligible for receiving that payout.
So if I wanted to switch from the whole life, the money I already paid in, can I get that back?
It's gone, unfortunately, sir. The money is gone. That's kind of the thing you get. Because what they're doing is they're combining your insurance and your investments in one account. We tell folks don't do that stuff, you know. You're not gonna go out today and go buy the car insurance and put an investment on it. You're not gonna go out there and buy a home insurance and put an investment on it, you know. Just buy life insurance by itself because it's so much more cheaper, you know. Like for myself now, I pay $26 a month for death benefits of $150,000, you know. That's term insurance. If I had buy and whole life for cash value, I'm looking at almost $120 because I'm buying insurance with an investment. But when you buy insurance by itself that's cheap and you take the difference that you'd have spent and just invest it, you're getting a bigger bang for your buck, you know. Because in these two examples here, this family are spending the exact same $295, you know. We just rechannel to how that money is being spent so they can get a better value for their money.
That was good. So then here it is. So that instead of the whole life, which is both, the term life is one. He's saying buy the one, and then the money you would save, take that and invest separately. That becomes your investment package. This is your term life package. But you pass, they get paid. As long as your policy is
but check this out. Even if this family here choose not to invest, let's say they didn't do any investment, look at how much they pay in a month for insurance. Look at how they're paying cheaper for way better value. You know, they're paying for cheap insurance for way better value, way better coverage. Imagine if they spend the exact same money in a cash value. Look at how much they're paying for the value of what they're getting. Does that make sense a bit more? It's just cash value insurance is just way too much expensive. It's unreal how much expensive that stuff is. It doesn't make any sense for anybody to buy that stuff, you know. And the problem with that is how they trick people into getting this cash value stuff is with the red stuff on the left there, they tell you, oh sir, you can borrow money out of that. You know, that's how they treat people. They tell you can take out a loan out of that money, you know. But the problem, what people don't remember is, let's say in your cash value now, if your cash value has 50 grand, you know, let's say you borrow 50 grand of the cash value and you pass away. The insurance company is going to do, they're going to take that 50 grand that you borrow, they're going to subtract it off your death benefit plus interest. Then they're going to pay you the rest. So it's right, so that it's you're not getting what you're paying for. You're not at all, you know. But if you just buy simple term insurance, which only works one way. If you die, you get the face value. It's simple as possible. There's no borrow money, there's no EPF, there's just none of that. You know, it only pays out one way. You know, I die, you pay this money to my beneficiary. You know, when you start getting this cash value stuff, is how stuff start getting tricky. You know, and the stuff it's always one-sided. Man, there's only one person benefiting from that stuff, and that's the insurance company. You know? So that's what we tell people: don't get that stuff, you know. Just buy term insurance, which is cheaper, and invest that difference, you know.
So look, we'll have to cut him off right here.
Yeah.
But look, this brother did an excellent job. We think you did an excellent job, and we're so proud of you as a young brother for, you know, getting your head on straight and not having to take some of these backward steps. But for those of us who have taken backward steps, it ain't over. And what we're trying to do is understand how we can make this thing work in ways we didn't think about before. Having said that, we got 3 people on the sign-in sheet. Wayne has it. We want you to call them, and then y'all can come here and do the financial needs analysis. And all you guys are going to come back to the group and kind of report out what that looks like, so we get a better way to see what that is. And if some people want cards, I don't know if you have them, but
I don't have cards on me.
Okay, but he'll be back, and give him another hand for coming by.
Will.
So,
did
did
this not remind you of when we sat in small business?
Oh yeah,
and we learned all this. So it just brought it back to mind.
But it's time now.
It's time now.
And so all of us, we want all of us to be more financially literate. There's no reason why we can't be smarter about our money. That's point blank. No doubt. To that end, I want to give James a few minutes. I want to announce though, I want to announce that my sister Rhea right here, tonight is her last night on parole. She's officially out parole tonight. Next Tuesday we're going to register to vote, and she's going to be an active participant in the midterm elections. You need to be encouraging your people, if you can or can't vote, to get out there and take care of their business. James got something he wants to share with us, and I want you to give him your attention. Go ahead, brother.
A while back, I came with or contacted a few pop guys and some folks over at Turning Point about an on-the-job training offered in partnership with Hennepin County for construction aspects. Here are the details about it. Training includes paid on-the-job training, starting wage of $15 per hour, full-time 40 hours per week, essential work gear is provided, job placement opportunities with union contractors at the end of the rainbow, the training rainbow. Requirements must be under the age of 40. It doesn't say on here, but that's a parameter. Under the age of 40, currently on probation with Hennepin County. We're looking at, or if you place a call, we'll be able to tell you what we're looking at as a start date. I don't have one with me here right now. Training length is 6 months. So that's 6 months if you just treading water right now and really not up to anything substantial in employment. This is 6 months that you can earn $15 an hour on 40 hours a week. Training location is 3000 2nd Street North, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Right on bus route 32. For more information on upcoming training dates, qualifications, and application process, call Mai Zhang at 612-302-8508. She's one of my co-workers. Fill out the inquiry form below, and there's a link for that. And that's what I got for you tonight.
Look how specific that was. He gave us every little bit of information that we need. He already got 2 people. Mike is in the program, and so is Daniel, who was here earlier. He slipped out of here. And the if anybody's interested, holler at James at the end. Ann and I, go ahead.
I just had a quick question. So is this just for individuals who have previous records? Or can,
On probation, currently in Hennepin County.
okay. All right.
So that's up our alley. And
One quick thing is this Saturday, October 20th, is
Yes.
the meeting, the community meeting with some elected officials for the IWOC trying to end decarcerate Minnesota and trying to end technical violations.
this is important to us. Anybody who can make it is going to be at Shiloh.
Shiloh Temple.
These guys are what these guys are doing is, is trying to make it so that you can't go back to prison for a non-criminal violation.
Right.
And it should always been that way. California is now doing it, so it's not like it's not being done. And the amount of money that California is saving is making all the politicians jump on board.
You know who been like that from the jump? Chicago. Chicago will not violate you. I don't care what the circumstances are. I did probation, both in Illinois. And on my probation, my parole in Illinois, I never even met the PO.
Right.
Probation, it was just nothing.
Right.
So Minnesota need to jump on the bandwagon.
Well.